Hey everyone, Aaron here. First off, by the way, let me apologize for my hair. My hair is like all over the place because I just took a shower like literally maybe 2 minutes ago, so I do apologize for that. But I wanted to get this review out to you because I don't know when else I'm going to be able to do it today, most likely. And I still have another few reviews today to do today, so I have to get these out, kind of on time. So, we're looking at the World of Yamizukan episode 13 and the whole series as a whole. So, let's first get this out of the way. The World of Yamizukan is definitely not going to be aimed at everyone. It's that horror anime short. In case you haven't actually been following my reviews, I'm not going to say exactly yet, but it's a horror anime short where each episode is about 4 minutes long. If you actually take away the opening and closing, it's probably less than like 3 minutes for each episode. But one thing I liked about it was that it was very intriguing to me, where you have this tome that opens up at the beginning, and the guy's talking about how inside is like the knowledge of all these horror stories and stuff like that. And I was right away kind of brought back to my childhood because I thought of like Goosebumps and all that, where you think of stuff like that and you're like, oh, that sounds really cool, like a tome of stories and stuff like that. And I'm a huge fan of, as many of you know, of the horror genre. I love stuff like the Twilight Zone stuff too, because those are short stories and that just have a lot of depth to them. Unfortunately, the World of Yamizukan hit high notes, but a lot more low notes. More low notes than high notes. Definitely way, way more low notes than high notes. Episode 13 I'll talk about really fast, and I'll kind of get into the whole, nitty-gritty of the whole series in general. Episode 13 was this forest-type episode. It actually harkened back to the first episode's animation, which was kind of cool, where this girl is looking for a way back home to her grandmother, but unfortunately is stuck in this forest that apparently has like this horrible fog that you can get lost in. Your soul gets lost in it at one point. And it kind of climaxes where at the end of the episode, she finds her mother apparently died when she was younger, and she ends up getting stuck with her and 3 other people in a tree. It's really weird to describe, but it was one of the better episodes of the World of Yamizukan, so I'm definitely going to give praise to this episode. It was actually a solid episode, despite how short it was, but, like everything else in this whole show, it's supposed to be short on purpose, it makes sense. But the World of Yamizukan as a whole, it wasn't horrible. I'm not going to give it a D. I'll tell you that right now. It's not going to get a D. It was a show that, even when it had its low moments, it was still intriguing stories. The problem was those stories were what keeps it from being, like, a lot better. Because some of the stories are really bad. Especially that one live-action one, which was the clowns and all that. That was terrible. That was one of the worst ones. The Fish People episode, which was episode 12, that was terrible too. And a few other ones before that were just as bad. But the first several episodes were very good. The last one, I think that the episode climaxed on was actually really solid. I would love to see season 2, but I hope that they learn from the mistakes of the first season and making the second season. So I'm not going to say that this is the series finale. I'm going to say it's the season finale for the time being. So in my review, I'll probably say the title, season finale. But, if I had to review the World of Yamizukan, given that it's always different art styles, it's always short stories, for the better and worse of it, if I had to give it between an A through F, I'm going to give it a solid C-. I think that this show is definitely not going to be everyone's cup of tea. This is going to be for the people that really like short stories that are horror stories related, but understand that some of these stories suck. I'm just going to be flat out blatant with that. Some of them are probably the worst I've ever seen in horror stories. But there are a few gems in there, and especially with the first one, the last one, several of them in between. Those episodes are actually really solid, and I enjoyed them fully. I thought they were really cool, and I love the concept of it. I think that the show had a really cool concept, so I don't think that it was a failure of a show. I just think that it fell apart a few times. And I love that they had different art styles that you see from different artists and stuff like that. I think that's a really cool way of doing this, because that's what I think is even better about a short story. You're getting it from different, not a narrator per se, the narrator is always the same, but you do have different voice actors that do some of the characters and stuff like that. But having a different story means you have to have a different styling to explain that story. So I think that the way they did it with the different art styles, even though they were still animation almost all the time, was a very good idea, and I think it worked for the most part. Anyways, guys and girls, I will talk to you later. I hope you enjoyed this review. As always, if you did, you know what to do. I will talk to you later. Until I pass crossing in the next review, have a good one, everyone. God bless you all. Bye-bye.